Hello, my name is Marcus Ruiz Evans, founder of the Cal Exit movement and a California nationalist for about 10 years. Well, let's get right into it. In November 2016, yes, California, the Cal Exit movement aimed at California independence, blew up in the news. We had California-wide news coverage, New York Times, ABC television, Japanese, Chinese, Russian, Filipinonese, everybody who's a news agent was talking about us, and we were ubiquitously covered. Through November to December and into January of early 2017, yes, California enjoyed kind of a romance from the press. They just covered us and that was it. But in February 2017, things changed and we were attacked. We watched as the media had one reaction to us, and then at a certain point where we got really big and showed absolutely no signs of slowing down, the attitude of the media completely changed. In fact, one day, our Facebook page was shut down and showed zero growth for days, whereas before it was averaging 10,000 new people a day. The media narrative changed from fun and maybe slightly poking fun to a harsh attack that we were in fact all Russian spies. Spending time with us was tantamount to treason, and we were aimed at nothing less than national espionage with the goal of bringing down the total destruction of America. Rachel Maddow was perhaps the best example of that. She celebrated our movement in one episode, and then in a totally different episode months later, trashed our movement as harshly as she possibly could while not mentioning the earlier episode where she celebrated us. But she's only one. So we have seen at Yes California how the media reacts to the topic of secession. Fast forward 5 years later to 2021 now. And the topic of national divorce is popularized by comedian Sarah Silverman and Congress member Marjorie Taylor Greene. We at Yes California are noticing the exact same pattern with the topic of national divorce that we noticed with Cal Exit in 2017, early 2017. We will now conduct a media analysis based upon our years of experience and walk you through where we think the system is in relation to this topic of national divorce. But first, a little bit of background. You have to know about the greatest activist of all time. His name was the Mahatma, who's also known as Gandhi. Now, when Gandhi brought down the British Empire, one of the things that he said was, at first, they ignore you. Second, they laugh at you. Third, they fight you. And fourth, you win. So first, they ignore you. Second, they laugh at you. Third, they fight you. And fourth, you win. This was Gandhi's perhaps most preeminent synopsis of his win against the British Empire. What's key here is that the third part goes from they fight to you win. Most people thought it should go to struggle, and most people are surprised that the fourth part is you win. So they ignore you. They don't want to spend any time on you. Maybe people will just stop talking about you. Then they laugh at you. See how silly and stupid this person is? So if you spend any time with them, you too should be ashamed of yourself. But when laughter and shame doesn't work, and when they can't get people to ignore something, they're left with no option but to fight, to say this is a horrible idea and they must attack. And that's why the fourth step goes, they ignore, laugh, fight, and then you win. For this reason, Gandhi recognized that the moment they fight, they reveal that they can be taken down and that you are doing something that could lead to their downfall. By fighting, they admit all of this, and they think you won't be able to see it because of arrogance. So when the system fights you, it's a good thing. Like I've told many, many activists that I've met around the world and in America, because it means they're admitting to you that you found a weapon that can kill them. They would not be fighting you if they were not afraid of you. They would ignore you or they would laugh. But when they're actually fighting with you, it means that you're doing something that won't stop and could lead to their downfall. And so when they fight you, they're admitting that A, they can be taken down, and B, you have found the method to take them down. This is what Gandhi said when he did the boycotts. They ignored him, then they laughed at him, the man in the silly robe, when he was actually an English barrister who had traveled around the world and knew the empire very well. And then they chose to fight him. And when they fought him, all the Indian people knew they would win. For this reason, the English never got upset about what the Indians did. For the first time ever, they were really mad at what Gandhi was doing. And all that did was project to all the Indians, they're scared because they know they could lose. And after they had that thought, the next thought was, why are they scared? Oh, because of what Gandhi's doing. Well, what scares them about that? It's a boycott. And then they thought very quickly. And all this stuff goes through your mind within about 30 seconds. They're scared because of this. What are we doing? Oh, that thing is the thing that could take them down. So remember that. Ignore, laugh, fight, and then you win. That's the Gandhi method. We're going to talk about national divorce, and I'm going to walk you through where we think the system is right now with articles. All of these articles will be listed in the bibliography, so you can check it out and go over everything. So first, here is the system trying to ignore the topic of national divorce. First article, quote, "No, we can't get a national divorce. There's growing sentiment for secession, particularly on the right. It should be rejected," by Ed Kilgore for the New York Intelligencer, October 4th. Another article, quotes, "A surprising share of Americans want to break up the country. Here's why they're wrong," from Rich Lowry of the National Review. Also, that was on October 6th. Also on the 6th, quotes, "The impractical but plausible fantasy of a national divorce," by W. James ANTLE III of the week. And finally, "A surprising share of Americans wants to break up the country. Here's why they're wrong," by Rich Lowry, National Review, but reprinted at Politico on 10/6. So October 4th to October 6th, New York Intelligencer, which is kind of a middle-of-the-road liberal magazine, National Review, which is conservative, The Week, which is liberal and international, and Politico, which is very liberal and domestic. So you have middle-of-the-road magazine, conservative magazine, liberal magazine, and another liberal magazine. And within 2 days, a 48-hour period, they're all saying, this really can't happen. That's the ignore phase. People are talking about national divorce. You can ignore it because it won't happen. I'm going to show you how the headlines change. This is key. So let's go to October 7th to the 14th. This is the laugh stage. "An American national divorce is a foolish, dangerous idea," by Rich Lowry, October 7th. Now remember, Rich Lowry, just a day before, said, "Surprising share of Americans wants to break up the country. Here's why they're wrong," by Rich Lowry of National Review on 10/6. Then on 10/7, the article title is changed to "An American national divorce is a foolish, dangerous idea." October 8th, the day after that, "National divorce is a poisonously stupid idea." Hey, don't look at it. It's a foolish idea. No, it's poisonously stupid. You can see how the language with Rich Lowry is shifting within days. Now, "The national divorce is a poisonously stupid idea," by Rich Lowry on October 8th was reprinted with that title 30 times in local newspapers. So that between October 7th and October 14th, if you typed in national divorce on Google, the search engine results for pages and pages is only going to show poisonously stupid idea. Then you have "Civil War, You Got to Be Kidding Me," by The Bulwark on October 14th, kind of a liberal magazine. So October 4th to the 6th, "No, we can't get a national divorce. Here's why they're wrong. This is implausible. Here's why they're wrong." Now we jump to October 7th to the 14th. "This is a foolish idea. It's poisonously stupid. You've got to be kidding me." Now, here's the interesting thing is that October 12th, there were 2 articles that came out. So when they're starting to laugh at them, sometime between October 7th and October 14th, with Rich Lowry and the reprints of that article across multiple domestic news stations, so that the Google search engine results filled up for 10 to 30 pages of just that, and appeared to show that article being reprinted by many different people across America, giving it the idea that everybody was thinking it's a stupid idea. That was programming. Then you had on October 14th, "The Civil War, You Got to Be Kidding Me," by The Bulwark. Now, they're moving to laughter from the 7th to the 14th. 7th, 14th, moving to laughter. But right in the middle of that, on October 12th, there's a problem. "Marjorie Taylor Greene posts Twitter poll broaching the idea of red blue states getting a national divorce," by Josh Fieldman for Mediate on October 12th. "Marjorie Taylor Greene under fire for incendiary Twitter poll. Should America have a national divorce? She asks her followers," by Helen Elfer for The Independent, October 12th. So October 12th, you had an international news magazine and an American domestic serious policy magazine taking this idea seriously. Remember, that's not what they wanted. They wanted people to ignore it. That didn't work. Then they shifted the language to laughter. People taking the idea seriously is not helping them push the laughter angle. So you can see 7th to the 14th, they're trying to push the laughter angle. And the 12th, There's some people going, well, we're still serious about it. So then what happens? October 12th, that same day, later that evening, Joy Reid. The cancer of the big lie has spread through GOP ranks. Marjorie Taylor Greene, polling her supporters on whether America should get a national divorce, has led critics to slam her for appearing to condone a civil war or the dissolution of the United States. Joy Reid and her panel discussed the potential threats to our democracy emerging from key figures on the right for MSNBC on October 12th. October 14th. This rhetoric from some GOP members is stomach-churning by John Avlon for CNN. October 15th. Steve Bannon on his show, episode 1338, titled Major Victory for Colonel Scheller with Marjorie Taylor Greene. Bannon says he vehemently disagrees with splitting the nation. And we're going to stay together forever. And this is a ridiculous proposal. So on October 12th, MSNBC, the top liberal TV station, does a full-on attack that this is horrible and bad for America. On October 14th, 2 days later, CNN, the other major liberal news station, does a hardcore attack that this is horrible for America. Within 24 hours of that, Steve Bannon, the major figure on the right, says this is horrible for America. So let's go over that one more time. October 4th, No, We Can't Get a National Divorce by Ed Kilgore. October 6th, Here's Why People Are Wrong About a National Divorce, Steve Lowry. October 6th, It's Impractical, and It's a Fantasy by James ANTLE III of the Week. October 6th, A Surprising Share of Americans Wants to Break Up the Country. Here's Why They're Wrong. Basically saying in a casual manner, ignore. Then we go to October 7th to the 14th. An American national divorce is a foolish, dangerous idea by Rich Lowry. National divorce is a poisonously stupid idea by Rich Lowry. That article is printed 30 times, so it looks like everybody's saying this is a stupid idea. And then October 14th, you have Civil War, You Got to Be Kidding Me by The Bulwark. Then we go to October 12th, where Mediate and The Independent take this article seriously. And then now the language shifts from ignore, you don't need to look at this, to his poisonously stupid idea. So look, this isn't worth looking at. This is a stupid, really silly idea. This is the big lie, and it's a cancer, and it'll potential threat to our democracy, and it will lead to the dissolution of the United States. Joy Reid, MSNBC, October 12th. This rhetoric from GOP members is stomach-churning by John Avlon, CNN, October 14th. We're going to keep this country together, and I'm vehemently opposed to this. Steve Bannon, October 15th. See how the language shifts? See how it shifts within a few days? So they went to two big liberal stations and a big conservative mouthpiece on the same day and said this is a bad idea. What that leads me to believe that the system started from October 4th to the 6th, trying to get people to ignore. That's step one, as Gandhi said. Then October 7th to the 14th, they tried to get people to laugh at it. That's step two, Gandhi said. Then they moved to step three, attack, as Gandhi said, from October 12th to October 15th. We're now in the wisp or shadow of the attack. So my conclusion to you is that they've definitely moved to attack, and that means that now is the time for us to win. Why did the system move to attack? They tried to get you to ignore it. People kept talking about it. Then they tried to get you to say this is a stupid idea, and you kept talking about it seriously. Now they have to tell you, you better not talk about this. And when they do that, they have now admitted to all of us secessionists that this is how we win. They are terrified of the concept of national divorce becoming a legitimate conversation. They simply can't have that. And so they must destroy that. What that means for all the secessionists, whether you're in Texas or New Hampshire, Alaska, Vermont, Hawaii, or California, or Puerto Rico, if the topic of national divorce continues and is legitimized and becomes a reasonable thing and reasonable people talk about it, they know that that will lead to the dissolution of the United States and allow some states to secede. They are terrified of that. That's why they're attacking. So they have just admitted to you that if you are a secession group and if you want to have the political environment that would even allow you to catalyze on this and actually achieve secession, you have to do one thing: legitimize the topic of national divorce. That is the way that we all win, and we know that now because they have admitted it to us by attacking us and revealing their fear. And thank you, Gandhi, for teaching us all how to do this. So now we know the way for secession is to keep the conversation of national divorce legitimate. About a year ago, under my leadership at Yes California, I redirected the organization to shift its focus from saying people must support secession to saying people must support the idea that having a conversation about peaceful separation is reasonable. It appears that we predicted the correct strategy, as this system is now revealing to us that it is most scared of this concept. The national topic, that the system has revealed to us that it is the most scared of this concept, the topic of national divorce being seen as a reasonable discussion topic. Thank you.